Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. You know, uh, today we're looking at something a little different, something one of you sent to us.
Oh,
Yeah, and, well, I gotta say I was a little confused when I first saw it.
but really? What is it?
So it's a PDF
Okay.
called KanyeWest.pdf,
hmm
and,
Let me guess.
yeah, it's just his name over and over and over again, hundreds of times.
Wow. So just the name Kanye West repeated.
Yep, pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe there were page numbers or something, but
Uh,
yeah. So I'm sure some of you out there are thinking, what's the point of this? What am I supposed to get out of this?
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to try to figure out today.
yeah, like, is this just someone messing around, or is there something deeper here? Something we're not seeing? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because at the first glance,
Mhm.
yeah, it just seems meaningless.
Right.
But the more you think about it, the more you start to wonder,
Yeah.
like, is it the repetition itself that's important?
Mhm.
Or is it how we react to it?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Kind of like a Rorschach test,
Yeah.
you know, where it's not about the image itself, but what you see in it.
Right.
It says something about you.
Totally. Because think about it. Someone who's obsessed with Kanye might see this and be like, this is awesome. This is like a tribute to him. But someone who doesn't like him might see it as a joke. Like, look how ridiculous this is. This is what celebrity worship has come to.
That's so true. It all depends on your perspective.
Exactly.
And that's what I find so interesting about this PDF.
Yeah.
It makes you question the whole idea of meaning.
Yeah.
You know, like, is there some kind of inherent meaning in the name Kanye West just because it's repeated a bunch of times?
Right.
Or does the meaning come from us, from our own experiences and what we associate with that name?
You know, I think you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
This PDF, it takes away all the usual stuff about Kanye, all the things we usually think about, like his music, his fashion, his, all the drama.
Yeah.
And it just leaves us with his name.
Mm.
And by doing that, it makes us think about what that name means to each of us individually.
That's a really good point. It's like it's forcing us to confront our own personal relationship with Kanye West.
Yeah. Whether we love him or hate him or somewhere in between.
You know, it's kind of like how brands use repetition in advertising. Think about those jingles or slogans that get stuck in your head.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They repeat them over and over again, so you remember them and then hopefully buy their product.
Absolutely. It's all about getting that name or that phrase into your brain. Whether you realize it or not, it's influencing you.
And with Kanye West, I mean, his name is already everywhere, right? So this PDF is like taking that to the extreme.
Definitely. It's making us think about how repetition works, how it can be used to manipulate us or to make a statement.
Okay, so this is getting really interesting. I'm starting to see how this simple PDF is actually way more complex than it first appears.
It's got a lot of layers.
But there's one thing I'm still struggling with.
What's that?
It's this idea of emptiness. You mentioned earlier that the PDF might be about the emptiness of celebrity.
Right.
But does repetition always have to mean emptiness? What about things like mantras or chants, where repetition is used for a completely different purpose?
That's a great question. And it makes you wonder if maybe the emptiness in this case isn't about the repetition itself, but about how we view celebrity. Like maybe it's saying that we focus too much on the names and the images and not enough on the actual person behind them.
So you're saying that by just repeating Kanye West over and over again,
Yeah.
this PDF is actually a commentary on how we've turned him into a brand rather than a human being.
Precisely. It's like it's holding up a mirror to us and saying, look at how you're reducing this complex person to just a name. And in that sense, yeah, maybe there is a kind of emptiness there.
Wow, this is blowing my mind.
It's pretty deep, huh?
Yeah, I'm starting to think this PDF is a lot more profound than I first thought.
Me too.
This is why I love doing these deep dives. We never know where they're going to take us.
It's always an adventure.
So what do you say we take a quick break and come back to explore this even further?
Sounds good to me. I'm ready to dive even deeper into this Kanye West rabbit hole.
We'll be right back after this short break. Okay, so we're back. And I've been thinking about this while we were gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, we talk a lot on this show about how important context is.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Context is everything.
But this PDF, it's like it's totally ignoring context. It's just this name, Kanye West, over and over again. No explanation, no background, no nothing.
Yet it still makes us think about it, doesn't it?
Exactly. And that's what's so weird about it. It's like the lack of context is what makes it so interesting.
It's true. We're so used to getting information in these neat little packages, like a news article has a headline and then it tells you the who, what, where, when, why.
Yeah, it's all laid out for you.
Right.
Yeah.
But this PDF, it just throws all that out the window and it forces us to figure it out for ourselves.
It's kind of refreshing in a way. don't you think?
Yeah, it's like a palate cleanser for your brain.
Like a digital detox.
Exactly. Think about how much information we're bombarded with every day. It's overwhelming.
Totally. It's like our brains are constantly on overdrive.
And then you come across this PDF and it's just so simple, so quiet, so still.
Yeah. It's like a moment of peace in the middle of all the chaos.
And yet, even though it's so minimal, it still manages to spark a conversation. It makes us think critically about information itself, what it means, how we process it.
That's a good point. It's like it's forcing us to slow down and really pay attention.
And to question our assumptions about what's important, what's worth our time.
You know what else I've been thinking about?
What's that?
Why Kanye West? Like, why not just any name?
That's a great question. I mean, he's obviously a very well-known figure.
Yeah, he's a huge celebrity.
But he's also super controversial.
Right.
He's always pushing boundaries and challenging the status quo.
And maybe that's part of why the creator of this PDF chose him.
Maybe they wanted to use someone who would really make people think.
The one who would get a reaction.
Someone whose name already carries so much weight and meaning.
Yeah, because Kanye West is more than just a name at this point. It's like a symbol. It represents all sorts of things.
It's a brand. It's an icon. It's a lightning rod for cultural conversations.
And I think this PDF is playing with all of that.
Yeah, it's like it's taking his name and stripping away all the extra stuff, all the baggage that comes with it.
And just leaving us with the pure essence of Kanye West.
And then it's asking us, what do you see now?
It's so clever. It's like it's making fun of how we elevate certain people to this almost mythical status.
Yeah, like we forget that they're just human beings at the end of the day.
With flaws and imperfections and all that.
Exactly. And I think this PDF is trying to remind us of that.
This is crazy. I'm actually starting to think this PDF is a work of art.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's provocative. It's thought-provoking. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before.
It's definitely unique.
And it's so open to interpretation.
That's what I love about it. It's not telling you what to think. It's inviting you to come to your own conclusions.
And that's what we always try to do here on the Deep Dive. Encourage people to think for themselves.
To be critical thinkers. To not just accept everything they hear at face value.
So I think this PDF is a perfect example of that. Even the most unconventional things can make us think in new and interesting ways.
You know, it reminds me of those Zen koans, those riddles or paradoxes that are supposed to make you think outside the box.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of those.
They often don't make any sense on the surface, but if you really think about them, they can lead to some profound insights.
So maybe this PDF is kind of like that.
Yeah. It's like a digital koan. It's forcing us to look beyond the surface, to question our assumptions about what constitutes meaning or art.
It's asking us to find the stillness in the repetition.
To create our own meaning out of the emptiness.
Isn't that the goal of any great art? To make us think, to make us feel, to challenge us.
I think so.
So I'm curious to know what you're thinking out there. What stands out to you in this sea of Kanye West? What feelings does it evoke? What meaning do you find in it?
Hold on to those thoughts because we'll be right back to wrap up this very unique deep dive.
All right, so we're back, and we've been on quite a journey today, haven't we?
Yeah, this deep dive has definitely been unique.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say this is probably the weirdest PDF we've ever looked at.
Yeah, but in a good way, right?
Oh, definitely. It's been so interesting to unpack all the different layers of meaning in this thing. Even though at first glance it seems like there's nothing there.
Yeah, we started with just this name, Kanye West, repeated over and over again. But we ended up talking about all sorts of things.
Yeah, like celebrity worship and the power of repetition and how we consume information in the digital age.
And the emptiness of fame.
Right. And how this PDF might be a commentary on all of that.
And even though we've talked about a lot of different interpretations, I think the most important takeaway is that there's no one right answer.
Exactly. Everyone's going to see this PDF differently, and that's okay.
It's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah, it's about the process of thinking critically and coming to your own conclusions.
And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive.
So as we wrap up today, I want to leave you with one final thought. Think about a name or phrase that you see or hear all the time in your own life, something that's become so overused that has lost its meaning.
Like a cliche or a buzzword.
Yeah, exactly. Now imagine that name or phrase repeated over and over again hundreds of times, filling up a blank page. What happens? Does it become even more meaningless? Or does it somehow regain its power?
Does it make you feel numb? Or does it spark something in you?
Those are the questions I want you to ponder.
Because ultimately, the meaning is up to you.
That's the beauty of art, isn't it? It challenges us to think for ourselves, to create our own interpretations.
And this Kanye West PDF definitely fits that description.
Yeah, it might not be a traditional work of art, but it certainly made us think. And that's what matters.
So until next time, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
And keep sending us your weird PDFs. We love them.